Hi guys, and welcome to another video where we identify interesting visualizations from across the web and try to create them using Tableau. So the viz that I have out here comes from The Economist and is called the Word of the Year. So what we have on the y-axis are a series of candidates for the Word of the Year. On the x-axis, we have the percentage increase in their usage between 2017 and 2018. So for example, the word crypto has a 420% increase in usage between 2017 to 2018. At the extreme right of the visualization, you have overlapping bubbles. These bubbles represent the number of mentions of the word in 2018. So for example, if you pick up the word plastic, it had 327 mentions in 2018, and this number was 160% more than the number of mentions in 2017. So what makes this visualization appealing? Firstly, we have a bar chart and a bubble chart. And then for me, the idea of overlapping bubbles is quite interesting. And the fact that the bubbles vary quite considerably in size. So for example, the largest bubble has a value of 994 and the smallest bubble has a value of 252. So with that, let's go ahead, create our data first and then build this viz in Tableau, and more importantly, see if we can improve upon it. So here's a simple data set that I have hand coded based on the information present in the Economist data viz. So as you can see, we have three columns. One is the word, the number of mentions in 2018, and the percentage increase between 2017 to 2018. So there are 20 words, as you can see. So now let's go into Tableau and create our viz. So let's connect to the Excel file. And here's our data, given that the Excel has one worksheet. Now we'll go to a new Tableau worksheet. And the first thing I'm going to do is to just put all my information into a table. So we have the word on rows out here, and I'm going to drag the number of mentions and the percentage increase out here. Okay, so let's just sort this information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort the percentage increase information in descending order, and please note the maximum value, which is 415. So just make a note of this. So what I'm going to do is create a calculated field. I'll call it a dummy value, and there's a reason for doing that, which will be obvious shortly. And I'm going to put a value which is larger than this 415. So let's put 417, and let's also drag the dummy value out here. So now I think we're done with this section. So let's knock off all this information and start once again with a clean slate. So let's keep word out here and change this to bar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the percentage increase onto this columns area out here and drag the dummy variable to its right. Now what we will do is to make this a dual axis. So this immediately messes things a bit, but do not worry. We will fix things, but first let's hide this card and then go back to this section out here of the dummy variable and change it back to circle. We will also synchronize the axes and hide the header. And now a little more aesthetics. We will change the colors to something more palatable. So I'm going to select the colorblind palette and change the colors of the bar and the bubbles. And lastly, we'll increase the size of the text on the y-axis. Now, as you can see, the bubbles on the right are at a similar position and of the same size. So let's change that. So we will go to this dummy section out here and drag and drop this field in the mentions onto the size. So as you can see, now the bubbles have taken on different sizes. Let's first hide this card. And now let's try to tweak the size so that we are happy. And in addition to size, we will also play with the opacity of the bubble, as well as give it a border, an appropriate border. So let's view this in entire view mode and tweak these parameters till we get an effect that we are happy with. I also want to change the label of the x-axis and remove the ticks on the x-axis. And we will place the percentage increase values at the top of every bar and format the information so as to make it more readable. Do remember that the percentage increases are percentages. So let's provide this information. Now we need to do the same for the bubble. So let's go back, and as before, we will drag the mentions onto the labels of this section out here. Now interestingly, we see two things. One is that the values are outside the bubble, and secondly, there are quite a few bubbles that don't have mentions. So let's try to fix that. So what we'll do is select all the bubbles firstly, then right click and change this mark label option to always show. And let's quickly see the output in full view. Great, so all the options are there, all the text is there, but however it's outside the bubble, so let's fix that. So let's go to out here, format, and go to this alignment section out here, and we can play with the horizontal and vertical alignments. So as you can see, this doesn't work, but this does, and just try tweaking the vertical alignments too. So after a few seconds of tweaking, this is what we see, and let's view it in full view mode. So I think the bubble section can be improved a bit, so I want to spend a few more seconds tweaking the parameters, and let's view it in full view mode. So that looks better. So let's move ahead. Lastly, from a readability point of view, we will add an annotation to this area out here and say the number of mentions in 2018. So we can format this information. So for example, I just want to keep it simple and change the background color to line with the color of the bubbles. So we can select this option here. And as you can see, this is a floating annotation, so I can move it to where I please. So let's take a look at how our visualization is looking. So as you can see, there's a lot we can do out here, but let's compare it with the original visualization. Okay, so as you can see, you can just do the comparisons. We do not have ticks on the x-axis, but we have percentages against the bars. Our bubbles could do with a bit of tweaking. Our annotation too could have perhaps a border, and we can align it better. But we are good for the moment. So guys, I hope you like this video. If you have any comments, how you would improve upon this visualization, please mention them in the comment section. And if you like what I'm doing, do subscribe to my channel and provide me feedback about my videos. Thanks a lot.